Alright, I haven't done anything with a gun video for a while, so I have this old Harrington and Richardson Model 88 single shot break action 20 gauge shotgun. So this one's got a couple issues. I had it for a while, but the stock is not original. I don't know if you can tell from who's sitting here. You notice this metal sticking out right here. It's a sharp edge right there because this stock is not original. Somebody probably made this as a project at some point in time. Not only does it leave sharp edges here because it doesn't fit right, but also the cheek weld, it's too high, so you don't get a good sight picture down the gun. There's some rust on the barrel here. When you break it open, there's even more down bottom there. The finish on the wood parts is pretty rough. The foreguard's not too bad, but I think you could use a reblue for this case hardened here. Looks kind of cool, but I think I can clean up a little bit. All right, so lessons I learned by when I was rebluing this H&K 20 gauge 088 model shotgun with case hardened receiver. I would double check and read up about rebluing case hardened metal. So another thing I noticed was that the sight in the front, this little guy, is loose and it's not original, and when it's threaded all the way in, it sticks into the barrel. So I need to get that offset somehow also. So anyway, this will be a video about me refinishing this gun. Not perfect like some guys do, but it'll look a little nicer and be a little more comfortable to shoot without the sharp edges over here where the wood contacts the receiver, and also have a better sight picture. This should be going back at an angle down that way more, so this extra cheek riser here is kind of in the way. I thought about trying to just shave off this cheek weld right here, but then we still have these sharp edges here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the butt pad off here, take the stock off, and see what we have underneath. So we'll take off the butt pad first. There should be Phillips head screws behind this rubber pad. Screws are being a little loose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the fore end off here first, break this barrel down, take the barrel off. This way it's easier to potentially work on getting that butt stock off there. This should just slide right down and off. From what I saw online, I've never done this before. Never done that before, so apologize for you having to watch that, but we'll work on getting this off next. I figured out why I wasn't getting off the Phillips head screws. They are flathead screws in here. Okay. Original one's a 9/16, so I'll get a 9/16 with an extension. The good news is at least it's a 9/16, so maybe this is the original bolt. Well, I guess I'll have some lock washers after, it's good to have all these spare lock washers. Seems like they're aluminum too. So, yeah, definitely janky. I don't know if this was a homemade job or what. That hole is oblong. Yeah, somebody made this. The front sort of looks correct, but it's not the right shape. It's not wide enough over here, which is why it was digging in. Which is why this metal here is wider than that. So this fit in there. It's just, as you can tell, the metal is sticking out further than the wood. So looks like I'm gonna have to pony up and probably buy the cheapest butt stock that I can find. Again, now that I have the original bolts along with 15 lock washers, that should help me custom fit. So, well, there's the actual technical part of the gun for the ACF. I said I'll take some time to refinish this stuff as well before I put it back together. Not sure you'll be able to see this or not, but that's not focusing that close. Look at that right there. From that now you can see the front sight post is sticking down into the bore. So, and I fired it like that a few times. So, I'll fix that too. Like I said, I'll probably put just a little tiny washer between the head of that little hex bolt there and the barrel, and then I'll put some blue Loctite on it. Hope it doesn't have to move in the future. This is probably the worst of the finish right here on the barrel. So H&R 20 gauge 3-inch mod choke, but definitely needs some cleanup on aisle 5. Just a disclaimer, I am not a gunsmith, so don't take anything I do as something that is something you should try at home or it's safe to try. This old gun, be fine with what I do to it. I'll be safe about it, but it may not be the exact procedure you should be following by the pros. So anyway, enjoy the video for entertainment purposes only. Alright, switching gears back to the gun. Obviously this video will be all about the gun, but I've been switching back and forth between that axe I'm refinishing and this gun. So just got in the Birchwood KC kit today to do the bluing of the barrel, as well as there's a whole second kit here for the true oil for the stock. Got a bit of a surprise for you later about the stock. So for now we're just going to go and work on the bluing. Essentially there's 3 different components: cleaner, degreaser, blue and rust remover, and then the bluer. So the directions here, we start with the cleaner degreaser, then we go to the blue and rust remover, back to the cleaner degreaser, then the bluer. So we'll see how this goes. I got some steel wool here. This barrel, it's gonna be hard to tell. Let's see if I can. It's pretty gnarly up here. This section, the bluing is pretty bad. And there's also some rust right down here. I'm not sure what's gonna show up in the camera. But that's where the problems are. Just turning the light on in the garage. I don't know if you can see right here. You can kind of see some of that rust there, and then down in here, this section's pretty bad. Some surface rust there, as well as down in here, just missing this blue, and then the surface area here is pretty rough. So that, and also the lower, I guess, receiver. It's case hardened. It's got this nice, case hardening from the heat treat colors here. I don't want to lose that, so I don't think rebluing it will do that. But there's a lot of surface rust here, over here, definitely down bottom here. I'm not going to be able to get to the little spots like in here, but I'll do my best to just bring this back to life. Hopefully you can reblue over this case. I don't want to hide this zebra type pattern for the case hardening, but anyway, we'll see how this goes. Alright, step 1, degreaser. So it says take a clean cloth, saturate a rag, and then clean off all areas of the barrel. Anything you're bluing, barrel, receiver. Okay. Move on to the blue and rust remover. This states clean and degrease, did that. Apply blue and rust remover with saturated swab. Let it work for 2 minutes. Then polish lightly with a small dampened pad of steel wool to remove old bluing and loosen rust. Repeat steps 1, which was clean and use the degreaser, and dry. Brighten area with steel wool or bristle cloth if the gun is to be blued or brown. So we'll have to follow all 5 steps there. I'm sure there are better videos about these steps to do this online. I'm not here to try and give a good tutorial. It's the first time ever really doing this, so maybe don't follow my lead. But if you want to watch somebody work, hang out and watch this mayhem. Most of the barrel of the bluing is not too bad, but Again, since we have some areas that are bad, I want to kind of get the whole thing again. Definitely have to wear gloves later on when I'm doing the bluing to keep oil from your fingers off the gun, because that could cause smudging and whatnot. Every that's just to get this trigger assembly out to clean these little corners here, so we'll do the best we can. Again, let it soak for a couple minutes, it said. Then we're going to take some steel wool. It said wetted steel wool, so I guess wetted with anything. I'm assuming water could be fine. So, pull a pad of steel wool, get it wet. This is just water. And let's see what happens here.
That when we'll charge the big one.
Okay.
That when.
Boy. It's not like uniform as far as the bluing coming off.
The wet shirt.
Trying to do some of this
Don't you?
blue and rust remover again.
Sky trying to touch.
Okay. Okay, let's try the receiver now. Again, the same thing, wet steel wool. Let's see how this starts looking. It helps it take off the case hardening look. Put some more of that rust and blue remover on this barrel again. Let's see if more of it comes off this time. Lots of fibers from that steel wool everywhere, that's for sure. Picked up some cheap steel wool, I guess, today at Harbor Freight. Maybe I should have gotten some better quality. Stuff's everywhere. Take one.
I can put them away.
Okay, we'll just put that for. I'll take care of it.
Okay.
Thank you for asking, buddy.
I put them on this so that stop your wipes. That you know.
Alright, repeat step and step one and wipe dry. So after this is dried from the water, the wet steel wool, we'll do a degreaser, wipe dry, and then we're prepped for the bluing, maybe. I'm just wiping it dry right now. You can have some of those steel wool fibers, but there'll be some floating around. Alright, well, here's the barrel. Still pretty uneven here. Some splotches here and there. The degreaser to it. Hopefully with the bluing I can even it out all later. If I didn't get all the bluing off, hopefully when I re-blue it, it'll kind of even everything out. So again, that kind of lost some of its luster, but it also cleaned up here in the bottom and back here, which was pretty rusty before, so that feels pretty smoothed out. Okay, and it's back to the cleaner degreaser. Finding new spots on this rag, obviously. I don't want to use the same spots over. Okay. Picked up a pack of these gloves recently. Oh boy, take out two and the whole box comes out. So degreaser one more time, now that I have gloves on. Degreased. Then the last step, it says, after degreasing, take steel wool and brighten it up. Take this front sight off here. Maybe that makes sense. Not get in the way. Uh-oh. What was that little guy? Just steel wool the whole thing to brighten it up before bluing. Again, most of the attention's top of the barrel here is seen. The bottom of the barrel for the front section is all hidden by the handguard. But the barrel down here is definitely visible, so make sure that's nice and clean. Oh boy, I see a little rust down here. Same thing here. Brighten it up. It's definitely a little shinier. It's not uniform. Not sure it's my fault or the product's fault, but we'll go with it. Okay, so we are prepped for the perma blue. Clean metal parts to rebuild with birch Casey cleaner degreaser and denatured alcohol and rinse with cold water. Or denatured alcohol and rinse with cold water. For complete refurbishing, removal of bluing and rust with birch Casey did that. Brighten area to be re-blue with steel wool or basic cloth did that. Clean again and rinse. Okay. Now we're on to the apply blue with saturated swab or sponge. Allow to work for 1 minute. Rinse with cold water and wipe dry. Polish lightly with steel wool. Repeat those 4, 5, 6, and 7 to obtain a darker blue. Saturate metal with barricade rust protection, which did not come with this set. You think they would have included that. Thanks, Birchwood Casey. Okay, so since you only have a minute to apply it and then get it rinsed off with water, we are going to only do one or the other. Also, what I read is once you open this up, you don't want to put this back inside here once you have it on this metal, because it'll bring in some microfibers from the metal, and then in here it'll kind of reduce the effectiveness of this in the future. So I want to find a little container for this to be poured into to use. So hang on one second, let's look for that. My red solo cup will do the job. Just take this out, we'll pour a little bit in here, and then only dab from this cup for the remainder of this project. Seal that back up so that'll last for the next job I have to do. So let's start with maybe the receiver. Kind of want to see this come back to life, hopefully. It looks so bland right now. Dab this on here. Remember, we have to put it on, leave it on for a minute, and then get it over, rinse it off with cold water. So get all the areas soaked in. I don't think you can put too much on here, so make sure you apply it liberally so you can get in all the nooks and crannies. It's not viscous at all, so it kind of runs around. Doesn't seem like it wants to, it's not like paste or anything. I didn't start a timer, but pretty sure we're about 30 seconds in. So once we rinse it, we're going to wipe it dry. I'll get a new rag ready for that. Oil on here. So that's been about a minute. I'll be back. Hope it gets better than this because it looks like crap. Rinse it off, and I don't see any of the coloring from before. I see blotches everywhere. This may be horrible. And this is polished lightly after you let it dry. I'm doing a very light polish in here, but this side over here just looks horrible. These blotches, and I know I did a really good job of cleaning it. Thought I did. Let's let that dry over here. Move on to the barrel. Maybe that'll turn out better. So far, I'm not impressed. Okay. Applying the blue everywhere. On the drying timer now, I'll take it, rinse it off, and wipe it off. Boy, I hope this evens out, because this just looks horrible. It's just blotchy everywhere, like right through here. Alright, and lightly polish it with some steel wool after you rinse it off and dry it off, prepping it for its next coating. Which I'm doing. Following the directions way more than I did last time. Okay, let's go back to the receiver while that one dries. This is ready for its second coat. Alright, well I think I screwed up the receiver pretty bad. It does not look very clean and uniform. Lost all its case hardened bluing there. And then the barrel looks okay. Did find out that there was 2 patches of the barricade inside the package. So inside there is 2 whites. I think it's just essentially gun oil, kind of soak it in and keep it from rusting any further. So coated that. I've got to wait 24 hours, and then I'll assemble the gun tomorrow. All right, it's the next day, and it looks okay. The barrel looks decent, I'll say, for being cold blued. This area here doesn't look horrible. It looks better than it was, but not perfect. So I don't know if I prepped the surface enough, honestly, but this part of the barrel turned out pretty good. It's back here where I really wanted to shine and look uniform. And this back part didn't quite take. So I tried again for $100-ish gun. This, unfortunately, I think turned out worse than I wanted to, for sure. The bluing wasn't equal. Kind of hid that case hardened blue color, or the different blues before. So yeah, I think this, if I wanted to do this again, it's worth my time to buy a better product maybe, or do some better cleaning. I'm not quite sure what went wrong here, but anyway, that's where that's at. So, coated it with that coating last night, kind of get the oil. It's essentially gun oil, I think, that really gets in here. If you don't put gun oil in it, that bluing will turn to rust in certain areas. So this kind of protects it and stops the rust. So next steps is the surprise is going to be putting this thing back together. So again, I was going to refinish the old wood stocks, but buying a used wooden stock on eBay was going to be like $55 plus I have to refinish it. So I picked up this stock, obviously polymer, from a company called H&R, and we're going to put this on there instead. So since the fore end was also wood before, I thought I'd get a matching fore end. So for the price of these two right here, I think it was like $60 combined, and I'll refinish them. And it doesn't have the authentic wood look, but they'll last much longer until we refinish them ever. So we're gonna do it now. We're gonna install the new stock and fore end on this gun. Okay, so first up, we will get this long bolt through the back here. Okay, fitting through there. See if we can get. As you hear, the stock is very small at the end, so let's see if this socket fits around that. So again, there's not much clearance inside here between the socket and the inside walls, so it's a bit tight. Boy, now that socket's stuck in there. That came out. Oh, we'll have to get that out with some needle nose pliers. So Harbor Freight yesterday, I finally picked up an extended pair of needle nose pliers, so perfect for this job. There's that. It does also take a flathead screwdriver, so I'm going to go in there just real quick, make sure I get this as tight as possible. Okay, that's solid on there now. And again, before the stock was smaller than the metal, so you had some sharp edges. Now the stock is bigger than the metal, so it's nice and comfortable there to grab onto. So there's that. Obviously this comes with a nice padded stock. Let's see, it even says H&R in the end. Look at that. It's the H&R symbol right there. That's pretty cool. So behind these pads there's Phillips head screws. So we're gonna put a screwdriver through the little hole in the rubber pad. Start seating it. Just getting a slightly larger screwdriver. Okay. Pads on there. Again, nice cushion back there. H&R, it's pretty cool. Next is the fore end. They were out of the standard fore end in polymer, so I got this storage one. So it looks a little bulkier than stock, but these storage compartments you can put extra shells in here or whatever. So and it comes with two different screws. I guess there are two different threads depending on what year or model your gun is. I'm not sure which one of these. There it is. So it's like a fine pitch and a coarser pitch threads. This one should not thread in there. Oop. And tight. Yeah, I don't like the look of this as much as the wood fore-end grip. It's kind of got a gap up in here. But what do you guys think? Zoom out a little bit so I can see the back of my messy tool bench. Okay, there it is. This one's done. We'll get that back in the safe. Keep it good and oiled up for a little while. And we're good to go. This little 20 gauge single shot in the books. I just put the fore-end, the wooden fore-end on here just to see how it looks and see if I like it like this better. I think it's too mismatched, honestly, with the polymer buttstock and the wood fore-end. I just want to see what it looked like because this is a much better fit. But I think I'm going to go back to the polymer, which again I don't love as much as the original as far as fitment, but it does match a little better as far as polymer to polymer. So now you know what I know. One thing I didn't show on camera was that before I mentioned that this peep sight up here was down into the bore because it was too long, so I pulled that out, just took a file to the back, filed some of that off, and now it seats properly and is not sticking to the bore. So I'm just going to put a little dab of blue Loctite on this and then put it back in. Nothing too fancy, just a tiny little dab. Off the excess blue Loctite. Okay, a couple days later, so here is the final product, and I'm not in love with the rebluing of this case hardened receiver here. So again, as I mentioned earlier in the video, if you have case hardened with the nice blues and everything in there, double check on that process. I think I may have kind of uglied it up a little bit too much, but the barrel turned out okay. So anyway, just want to, since we're in the mode of making this gun more modern with the plastic composite buttstock and fore-end, we're just going to go ahead and add in here a Magpul MS1 sling. Amazon days was having a sale on this. I think it was like 17 bucks, normally $37 for an MS1 sling. So we're going to go ahead and install this right now. And my one son, who may or may not be hunting with this gun in the future, as a helper for this video. So she opens carefully. Don't slice through it. Packaging out of the way. So obviously this sling does not have any ends on it. So we're going to have to feed the ends through both of the quick clips. Now, I think you'd want this quick drawstring closer to the front of the gun. So this will be the front. This is your quick adjust right here. So that's how you adjust it quickly. So this part will go definitely in the front of this gun. But I hope this strap isn't too wide for this. Huh. Well, that stinks. It's a little, strap is a little too wide. It'll fit, it's just not going to be perfect. And then we'll feed this back through. I should be able to see what I'm doing. My hand will be blocking the view. Just get needle nose pliers real quick. That's what took it. Just took some needle nose pliers to pull that back behind that buckle. I believe you want to feed it to the back side there. That really helps lock it in a little better. So that's the back. The front side. We'll go ahead and do the back. So I'll try and get you a better angle to this procedure. So make sure the strap is straight. We're running into the same problems we do with the front. The strap is a little too wide for this particular sling attachment. they would have standardized this, or I should have done a little more research to make sure what size strap this holds. But again, it's going to be pretty good. So again, Magpul original, not a knockoff, for 18 bucks for an MS1 sling. I'll take that any day of the week. So doing here is giving some space here for the strap. Bring this up. You're not gonna be able to see that. So trying here is the first loop. Bring up like that, give some space, and then bring this up and over. Hopefully back through. There we go. And this second part of the buckle, I would assume, would go through this other buckle, just to tidy it up a little bit. Yeah. Magpul and their double buckles, I guess. That's how they roll. Magpul's good quality, made in America product. I had one other video where I got a Magpul MS4 sling. I wasn't sure if it was forfeit or not, but I'm certain this right here is from the Magpul store on Amazon. So, let's bring this up and check the length. Seems a little long right now. So this would, we got some adjusting on that sling to do. Right, Breck?
Yep.
A little too long still? Alright. I think we got it adjusted pretty well. It'll work for walking through the woods, getting this first deer. Alrighty. Well, and so ends the video. So, like it or not, this is what I've done with it. And put a little more, nice little cushion pad back there. Bluing in there wasn't so great. Bluing in the barrel was okay. Still not perfect, but better and more well protected than before. One thing I like about this foregrip is the gap between, because this foregrip is kind of universal for all the different chambered uppers. So you could have a 12 gauge barrel here with a big OD, which would fill in the space, whereas the forend that I had before was a 20 gauge forend, so it fit really tight against there. But anyway, it's done. This gun is now ready for skeet shooting and or hunting. All right, thanks for watching. Take care.